Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. It is my privilege to welcome the President's Party to the stage. We welcome Dr. Aaron Sadlak, Grand Marshal. Sister Catherine Luxner, IHM, Vice President for Mission Services. Ms. Lee Farrar Freeman, Representative of the Marywood Alumni Association. Dr. Christina Clark, Provost. Sister Ellen Maroney, IHM, President of the Congregation of the Sisters of the Immaculate Heart of Mary. Lisa Laurie, Esquire, Chair of the Marywood Board of Trustees. And Sister Mary Persico, IHM, President of Marywood University.
Brothers and sisters, on this great day of celebration, let us pray. Loving God, it is so good for us to be together this day to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2021 of Marywood University. In these times that have challenged our resolve, wounded our spirits, and broken our hearts, we celebrate this day the power that you, O God, plant within us to overcome adversity, to recreate our world, and in the midst of darkness, to bring hope, light, and life through our openness to your abiding presence. As we lift up to you in prayer our graduates, we give thanks. We thank you, O God, for parents, for families, and all those who have nurtured and cared for our graduates and have sustained them along the way. We thank you for the educational experience built on the foundation of our Catholic faith and imbued with the spirit of the sisters, servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, an educational experience that has challenged growth in mind and spirit and has the power to endure in hearts forever. We thank you for teachers, for colleagues and friends who have walked the journey with our graduates and who have helped to make them who they are this day. We thank you for the gift of our faith that gives us hope amid the joys and disappointments of life. And we thank you, O God, for our graduates, for the gift of their lives, for all that they have achieved, and for their openness to your presence. We pray that they will attend to their life's work with integrity, grounded in a deep belief in you, O God, and a profound respect for the lives that you weave into their own. May they always be committed to the pursuit of knowledge, and in an age fraught with anger and division, may they dedicate themselves to the gospel value of servant leadership. Walk with them this day, O God, into a new chapter of their lives. May the perseverance that has brought them to this moment carry them forth to build a world marked by peace, justice, and compassion beyond measure, while always mindful of your grace and presence abiding within their hearts. Amen.
Attorney Lisa Laurie, members of the Board of Trustees, President Sister Mary Persico, administration, deans, faculty, parents, family, and friends, and most especially you, the distinguished members of the Marywood University class of 2021. After a year like no other year, it is a special honor and a joy for me to stand before you today representing the Marywood University Corporation members and indeed all the sisters, servants of the Immaculate Heart of Mary, the founding and sponsoring congregation of this wonderful university. On their behalf, I congratulate each of you, our graduates, your parents, and all those who helped to make this day possible. This truly is a day for much gratitude and rejoicing by all. I want to take a moment here to acknowledge very specially all the administrators, faculty, and staff who day in and day out witness to the IHM charism by how they live and how they serve each of you. I also want to thank and congratulate Sister Mary for her vision, her energy, her dedication, and her willingness to serve this wonderful institution. Thank you, Sister Mary. Throughout this past year, you, members of the class of 2021, have demonstrated enormous dedication, courage, creativity, flexibility, patience, and yes, a sense of humor in order to get to this special moment. Few classes have had to overcome the challenges you have faced. I am quite certain, though, that the Marywood class of 2021 will not be defined by what was lost to the virus, but how you steadfastly responded to it, and that your experiences and learnings will lead you to create a new normal for our world, one that is more just, beautiful, tender, and loving. That was the dream of our IHM sisters who founded this university over 100 years ago. And while those founding sisters died long before any of you set foot on this campus, you were in their minds when they were inspired to build this university. You have inherited their dreams, graduates. You are standing on the shoulders of our founding sisters. We are entrusting you with a living charism built on faith, passion, trust, and commitment. It is now in your capable hands and hearts to see that it is given new expression in today's world and in the world to come. So congratulations, graduates, and thank you for having enriched all of our lives by your presence among us, and for taking with you the inspiration and legacy of Marywood University. For that truly will be the measure of your future success and ours. May your lives be filled with goodness and laughter. May your hearts be filled with hope and joy. And may God's blessings go with you today and sustain you all the days of your lives. Thank you.
Good afternoon. As chair of the Marywood University Board of Trustees and a proud graduate myself, I'm delighted to welcome all of you, those who are here with us in person and those who are here remotely. It's my great privilege to welcome the members of the Marywood University Corporation, trustees of the university, Sister Mary Persico, Reverend clergy, revered sisters, university officers, members of the faculty, administration, staff, students, and alumni. But I'm especially delighted to welcome our most esteemed guests today, the class of 2021. Congratulations. Let's take a moment to acknowledge with gratitude those who have helped you in this journey, your family, your friends, faculty, your mentors, by giving them a round of applause. Graduates, today we celebrate you and all that you have accomplished. Commencement signifies the beginning of something. Well, this is your commencement, and this is your new beginning. And we cheer each and every one of you as you journey to even greater success. So on behalf of the Board of Trustees, I give each and every one of you in the class of 2021 my warmest congratulations.
Good day to all. I'm Dr. Christina Clark, Provost of Marywood University, and it is my distinct pleasure to be with you today. I'm delighted to introduce and to pay tribute to our principal speaker, who will address us via recorded message. We are truly grateful for his willingness to share his insights with the class of 2021. So on this 15th day of May, 2021, Marywood University is pleased to honor Stephen Karam for his award-winning and critically acclaimed work as a playwright and more recently as a screenwriter. Born and raised just a few blocks away from Marywood, Mr. Karam's small-town upbringing would later influence his writing. After graduating from Brown University, he became an apprentice at the world-famous Utah Shakespeare Festival. In 2006, he co-wrote a play titled Columbinus, which became his first professional production when it was produced by the New York Theater Workshop. He still held a regular day job and continued working on his plays on the side before making a name for himself as a full-fledged playwright. Now, the kid from Green Ridge is a Tony Award-winning author of The Humans, Sons of the Prophet, and Speech and Debate. Mr. Karam has received 2 Drama Critics Circle Awards for Best Play and an Obie Award for his work, and he is a 2-time finalist for the Pulitzer Prize, as well as the recipient of the inaugural Horton Foote Playwriting Award, the inaugural Sam Norkin Drama Desk Award, 2 Outer Critics Circle Awards, a Lucille Lortel Award, Drama League Award, and Hull Warner Award. Additionally, he recently directed his first feature film, and he teaches graduate playwriting courses at the New School in New York City. It is fitting, therefore, that Marywood University, whose mission of educational excellence in the liberal arts tradition is long-standing, should salute Stephen Karam, whose life and energies have been devoted to these pursuits.
I'm excited to be with you today and celebrate your achievements. After an uncanny year, new forms of learning, and more Zooms than you ever anticipated, you did it. I want to congratulate the graduates from 10 different countries and 30 different states, and also family and friends, faculty and staff, and the entire Marywood community. My mother was a Marywood graduate 50 years ago, as are many relatives and friends, so addressing this community has special meaning for me. I grew up a few blocks from the Arch, and the campus itself feels like an extension of my backyard. It's hard to remember a day where there wasn't a walk or a bike ride through campus, casting weird reflections of myself in the mirrors of the Shield Center, piano lessons with Sister Joan Paskert, and sneaking an occasional yodel in the rotunda while my mom was running an errand on campus. Part of me thinks I'm not old enough to give a commencement address. The other part thinks of hours spent in Marywood's old library, no longer in existence, printing microfiche copies of theater articles. Microfiche felt high-tech to me at the time, so suffice to say, I am old enough to give this speech. Now that I'm a teacher myself, I tell my students that the best stories they can write are the ones that only they could write, to focus on their own quirks, obsessions, their loves. So I'll take my own advice and frame this short reflection with my own obsession and love of stories. Good storytelling requires two simple gazes: the ability to gaze inward and reflect on personal experience, and the ability to gaze outward to be curious about the experiences of others. Holding both is essential. It creates a meaningful haze of gray area, ambiguity, and some mystery. This dual gaze has been instrumental in helping me create fictional stories, but also in guiding me through real life after college. My obsession with stories kicked off when I saw my sister's production of Little Shop of Horrors at North Scranton Intermediate School. I like that you couldn't neatly categorize any of the characters as all good or all bad. Seymour was a nerdy orphan, capable of great kindness, but also capable of killing people and feeding them to a man-eating plant. There were multiple complex truths at play. Two things could be true at the same time. I love that. Art does this so well. It can hold competing ideas at once, because art's job is just to tell the truth, whereas in an arena like politics, there needs to be a clear winner. F. Scott Fitzgerald seems to appreciate the difficulty and essential nature of competing notions when he said, "The test of a first-rate intelligence is the ability to hold two opposed ideas in mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function." Scrantonians have a leg up on this, I'd wager. We know how to thrive in a purple state. We're used to having strong beliefs and living beside others who don't see things the same way we do. If you're thinking, don't talk to us about gray area and ambiguity, we've survived college during a pandemic, please give a speech full of concrete, incontestable wisdom. The opposing ideas at play right here now are: one, I want to be authentic, and two, I have been flipping through viral TikToks, wondering if I could get away with a listicle like, here are 3 ways to ensure every graduate lives a perfect, happy life with unlimited prosperity and wealth forever. Obviously, I can't do a list like that with a straight face, but I can hone in on 4 practical ways I search for meaning and authenticity in my stories, and how those 4 ideas might help you process your own life story. The first potentially useful observation: your story can change. I wish I had an easier understanding of this when I was younger. It is entirely normal to set out on a planned path only to encounter unforeseen swerves, to be thwarted. A lot of my 20s, I was anxious about nailing down answers to where will I live? Where will I be in 5 years? Why did I major in English? Should I get a PhD in English? Uncertainty didn't feel good. During my 9 years of assorted day jobs, from legal assistant to working Citibank promotions, I ran from gray area. Life was chaotic, so I avoided complex truths in favor of neater, less honest answers. Maybe you've occasionally felt like a broken record as you say for the millionth time to inquiring adults, I'm a business major and I'll go into accounting. I'm in communications and I will pursue broadcast journalism. It's not that your journey won't go as planned. For many it does. But if your narrative doesn't unfold neatly, that's not an ominous sign. That's not even failure. That's life. I wish I'd been less afraid of the in-between zones of life. No one told me that the moments where you're trying to get somewhere that makes more sense, those moments are a lot of life. If I knew this in my 20s, instead of being irked by the ambiguity of it all, when asked what I do for a living, I might have said with less stress, I'm a legal assistant who sometimes dresses in a blue jumpsuit to work at Citibank promotional raffle, but what I really want to do is write for the theater. That is a horrible pickup line, but I would have felt liberated to tell something resembling the truth. My second hope for you: make time for the things you love. In the midst of doing responsible things like setting up a Roth IRA and Googling, what is a Roth IRA, you'll notice that life has an endless supply of worthwhile distractions. Setting up a new home, showing up for someone in your life who needs extra care. It's normal to get carried far away from your passions, from the stuff that fills you up. Sometimes your joys will be fully merged with your job and how you earn money, but if you find yourself in a gray zone where you're only partially fulfilled by your career or not at all, keep asking yourself, what are the no-brainer loves of my life? What do I turn to at the end of the most tedious, cold, lonely day when the whole world feels broken? A sport I no longer play, crocheting, fixing cars. Do those things. Get better at those things. Let those things lead you to other things. When you're tuned into what you love, the no-brainer loves, you'll be less tuned in to what others think you should be interested in, and more in sync with what you want for your story. My third hope for you: stay curious about stuff you don't know a lot about, but want to know more about. Formal education gives great structure and wonderful steps to building skill sets, but unofficial learning, spending time exploring what motivates you, it's nourishing in ways that you'll be surprised by. I was always curious about movie making, but never studied it. However, I cannot remember a time I wasn't making home movies in my bedroom with friends and Legos. In 8th grade, I adapted an Edgar Allan Poe short story into a short film with my East Scranton Intermediate School classmates. In the climactic scene, I buried my friend alive using cardboard bricks from my sister's kitchen playset. I planned this obsessively, and because it was the past and I lacked editing tools or a computer, we lugged my parents' heavy VHS camera all over the place and had to shoot the entire thing in order until it was right. This is to say, I've always been obsessed with filmmaking, but until last year when I directed my first film, I had a problem. I'd established my story and my career, my whole life as a writer. So I'd forgotten that stories can change, and so it took me almost 25 years to connect the dots from burying my friend alive with Barbie bricks on VHS to step into a new part of the story. I was 25 years deep into being too scared to fail. And let's talk briefly about fear of failure. In the same way it is liberating to name your obsessions, your true loves, both obvious and secret, it can be liberating to name your fears. If you don't name your fears, I have bad news. They're gonna find you anyway, and in that scenario, there's still some good news. Colliding with your fears head on is liberating. I don't want to be treacly here. Facing your fears is not fun. Not once have I enjoyed the reality of loss of love in my life, or the death of a loved one, or loss of health, or coping with public creative failure. Even coming out of the closet was terrifying. But Ms. Microfiche here is just old enough to say with confidence that the pain you'll experience in those terrifying moments, when you come out the other side of them, the cliches are true, you'll have grown more than you could have otherwise. You'll feel more free, your story more complex. My fourth hope for you is that you'll think more about zooming out. You'll develop the muscle that helps you see a bigger picture when you feel trapped or stuck in a given moment. Zoom out of your creative process, zoom out of your life planning, your dinner planning, your Roth IRA planning, and try to see the picture from above. This is a tough muscle to develop, as everybody's own day-to-day drama is plenty to deal with. Looking outside yourself might be harder than ever because we've all got computers in our hands that reward us for being obsessed with ourselves. And look, I keep saying two things can be true at the same time. So by all means, take a hot mirror selfie today. Let the people know you graduated and looked good. But then, alongside the dopamine hits from the meaningful Instagram comments you'll be receiving, such as looking good and perhaps the flame emoji. Also, hold on to how critical and meaningful it is to step outside of yourself. I say the following in shock. All of our grandparents and parents and priests and sisters and rabbis and teachers were right. Doing things as small as the thank you notes, volunteering, being a good neighbor, showing up for those you love, it's not fake good for you. It has lasting outsized rewards. I have never regretted connecting to community. I have only regretted not doing those things more. The fun way to zoom out is through art. With art, it's not work, you do it unconsciously. As James Baldwin put it, you think your pain and your heartbreak are unprecedented in the history of the world, but then you read. All of the things that feel enormous to you, intangibly huge, immeasurable, overwhelming. An artist has written about this, danced about this, painted this, suffered this either 1,000 years ago and 1,000 miles away, or most definitely in 1994 in Marywood's Performing Arts Center when I danced for my salvation in The Nutcracker, in the unmemorable role as a parent, although there was something memorable about me being 15 with mild acne and being paired with a wife who was middle-aged. I digress. Art zooms us out without even trying. It connects you to your own story by making you think about other people's. So it seems fitting to end with a story. Chekhov wrote a short one called The Student. Little on the nose. I know, bear with me. In the story, a young seminary student is having a very bad day. He is on a boring, cold walk alone. His fingers are numb. His face is burning from the wind. He's in a bad mood. It's also Good Friday, so the whole world felt broken. The student ends up stopping by a widow's house to warm himself by a fire. And as he warms his hands, he starts thinking about how, on this Good Friday, more than 1,000 years ago, maybe the Apostle Peter also warmed himself by a fire on that cold night. And so he starts to tell the old woman about the night Peter denied knowing Christ 3 times, and how after the 3rd time, Peter went out of the courtyard and wept bitterly. And the student looks up to see the widow is crying herself. She's sobbing. The student is shocked. His story has had this effect on the woman, and he never learns precisely why she's crying. It remains a bit of a mystery. Chekhov only lets us into how her reaction affects him. Quote, obviously, what he had just told her, something that had taken place 19 centuries ago, had a relationship to the present. The past, the student thought, is connected with the present in an unbroken chain of events flowing one out of the other. And it seemed to him that he had just seen both ends of that chain. He touched one end and the other moved. He kept thinking about how the truth and beauty that had guided human life there in Peter's garden and in the high priest's courtyard went on unbroken to this day, and evidently had always been the main thing in human life and generally on earth. And a feeling of youth, health, strength, he was only 22, and an inexpressibly sweet anticipation of happiness, an unknown, mysterious happiness, gradually came over him, and life seemed to him delightful, wondrous, and filled with lofty meaning. This is not considered one of Chekhov's greatest short stories, but I love it for its simplicity. The same student out on a solitary, freezing, miserable walk ends up finishing the journey feeling totally different. Physically, he's still alone and freezing, but he feels connected, hopeful. His worst day has become his best day. No overly tidy lesson in this or any of my favorite stories, and hopefully none here. My best writing results from meditating on questions I can't answer. My greatest, sweetest, most ineffable highs have come from accepting mystery. But I want you to know with absolute certainty that as you start down your varied paths, even if at times the journey turns cold, unsteady, gloomy, and solitary, that same path holds constant potential to inspire feelings of deep connection, delight, wonder, and being part of a bigger story filled with lofty meaning. Congratulations.
Thank you, Stephen, for that very exciting and inspiring message. As I was looking out upon all of the people here at this ceremony this afternoon, I saw a lot of heads shaking. And so if you want to hear the message again, you're very free to go online and to look at your commencement ceremony, savor in the joy of it, and listen to Stephen's inspiration again. We here on the stage, some of the faculty and trustees to the side, many of the staff, have now heard this for the third time. But it's even better every time, and the funny lines get funnier. So thank you, Stephen, for your inspiration. And I would like to add to those who spoke previous to me my greetings to all of you this afternoon. It's so good to see you, and it's so wonderful to be here in person for this joyous occasion. I'm sure it will not be a surprise to you that I would like to share a few remarks with you before conferring your degrees upon you. First, however, I would like to ask you to do something. I know Attorney Lisa Laurie, our board chair, asked you to thank those who brought you to this moment, your faculty, your staff, your friends, but you have chosen two people to be with you in this little pod this afternoon, and there was a special reason you chose them. They must be someone special to you. And so I ask you to turn to them right now and thank them for all they have done for you. And given the nature of the degrees you will be receiving today, they've done a lot, and they've put up with a lot. And so, my comments. In 2012, the Taliban in northwestern Pakistan attempted to assassinate a young schoolgirl by the name of Malala Yousafzai as she was riding home from school on her school bus. Malala, as she is known today, survived the attack after several operations and has since dedicated her life to fighting for the right to education for women around the world. At the age of 16, Malala spoke to the United Nations. At age 17, she became the youngest person to win a Nobel Peace Prize. And today, she is 23 years old. We first heard of David Hogg in 2018 when he survived the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting and immediately rose to prominence as an activist for gun control. David spoke at the youth-led March for Our Lives peaceful protest in Washington, D.C. in March following that shooting. He was named by Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people of that year. Today, he is 21 years old. Naomi Osaka, tennis great of Japan, defeated champion Serena Williams in the Australian Open in February of this year. Subsequently, she was named the 2021 Laureus World Sportswoman of the Year and was ranked #1 by the Women's Tennis Association. All proceeds from the masks designed by Naomi and her sister were sent to benefit UNICEF's COVID-19 relief efforts. Today, Naomi is 23 years old. Greta Thunberg was named Time Magazine's Person of the Year in 2019. In December of 2018, she spoke at the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Poland. This young Swedish woman became famous for challenging world leaders on the subject of climate change, even going Twitter to Twitter with the former President of the United States. Today, she is only 18 years old. Malala, David, Naomi, Greta, how are their lives different from yours? I have observed you for the past several years, and the answer to that question is this: The only thing that differentiates you from them is fame. And fame, as we all find out sooner or later, is fleeting. I want to reflect to you about who you are in the world today. I want you to think about your college and those classmates of yours who graduated from your college this morning at 9 o'clock. In the midst of a global pandemic, unlike any other health crisis the world has experienced in a century, as PA and nursing students, you vaccinated more than 5,000 persons from this region. As CSD students, you effectively transitioned to teletherapy in order to ensure continued speech and language service to those in the community in need of this assistance. You also supported frontline workers by sending thousands of holiday cards to sites such as St. Luke's Children's Center and many hospitals and nursing cares locally. As psych and counseling students, you adopted families during Thanksgiving and figured out how to stock the Pacer pantry throughout the year. As nutrition and dietetic students, you created an educational podcast entitled Nutrition Untangled to offer ways of coping and dealing with food insecurity during challenging days. As students in the School of Social Work, you found a variety of ways to hold blood drives, support local food shelters, safe houses, and food pantries. And as students of the Athletic Training and Exercise Science program, you participated in the Camp Archibald cleanup so that area youth can safely return to summer activities and fun. This is just a short list of all that you and your classmates and the rest of your college have done throughout this past year. There are so many more achievements and accomplishments that can be cited here. But this is the part in your graduation ceremony where it is my job to exhort you to live the core values of Marywood University as you go forth from here. Obviously, concepts such as service, excellence, and empowerment are already deeply rooted within you and in the graduates of the other colleges of this university who have had similar experiences in their own fields of expertise. And then this is where I tell you that you will surely meet life's challenges in the years to come. But you've already met life's challenges. Ironically, that has happened in ways that graduates in times gone by have never known at this juncture of their lives. As we move beyond a world event that deprived you of many personal joys and social experiences, we see glimpses of hope in a generation of people, your generation, known as Gen Z. We see hope in you and in your peers. You have already demonstrated to us, to the community, and to the world that you can lead, that you believe in the principle of the common good, and that the values of Catholic social thought taught here at Marywood have and will continue to guide your actions. It's not a secret that this divided, broken world needs people like Malala, David, Naomi, Greta, and most important to us today, you. I encourage you, if you have not already done so, to gather with your family and friends to watch your graduation that was recorded, your graduation liturgy that was recorded last week in our Marywood Chapel and attended by some of you. It was a limited seating capacity, as you know. You have received the link, and it's on our website. During that liturgy, we prayed with and for you. Our chaplain, Father Elston, reflected upon the gospel passage that reads, "You are the salt of the earth and the light of the world." During these past years, especially this last one, You, in many ways, have been our light. We will never forget you, and this year, we will speak of you long into the future. So do not regret what you have lost. Rejoice in what you have gained. One other member of the Generation Z group, the poet Amanda Gorman, wrote, "For there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it." You are brave enough. Congratulations. We have loved you. We will miss you. So for now we say farewell, and God bless you. The time has come. And so today we gathered to bestow degrees upon candidates from the College of Health and Human Services. And so I ask your Dean, Dr. Lori Swanchak, do you formally present these candidates to me for the conferral of degrees?
I do.
She said, I do. So then, by the power vested in me by the state of Pennsylvania and the Marywood University Board of Trustees, I hereby confer the following degrees: Doctor of Clinical Psychology, Educational Specialist in School Psychology, Master of Arts, Master of Health Services Administration, Master of Science, Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, and Bachelor of Science in Nursing upon the candidates presented to me by the Dean of the College of Health and Human Services, and admit them to said degrees, and do proclaim them sons and daughters of the university forever.
At this time, faculty members from each department will introduce the graduates of their departments as they come forward to receive their degrees. Our first reader today, Dr. Brooke Cannon, Professor of Psychology from the Psychology and Counseling Department.
Almost ready. Good afternoon. As you heard, I'm Dr. Brooke Cannon, Professor of Psychology, Director of Clinical Training for the PsyD program. Sister Mary, it's my honor to present to you the graduates of the Department of Psychology and Counseling. Andrea Janello, Doctor of Psychology. Amara Chukwunenye, Doctor of Psychology. Victoria Grace Kelly, Doctor of Psychology. Sarah Edelman, Doctor of Psychology. Emily Melhorn, Doctor of Psychology. Stephanie Lanehair, Bachelor of Science. Mariah R. Corey, summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science, recipient of the Medal for Excellence in Psychology. John Vishy, Bachelor of Science. Caitlin Weller, Bachelor of Science. Joseph Robert Mastantuono, Bachelor of Science. Madison Grace Dano, Bachelor of Science. Brittany DiAgostino, Bachelor of Science. Brianna Lee Dyson, Bachelor of Science. Casey Elizabeth Marks, Master of Science, Counselor Education. Ryan Matthew Samsel, Master of Science, Counselor Education. George Mercurio, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Morgan Marie Shamrow, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Thomas P. Conroy, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Corinne Enderline, summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Rebecca Ruth Rotker, Bachelor of Science. Noah James Siriani, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Science, recipient of the Sister M. Charitas Loftus Medal for Excellence in Poetry. Emily Elizabeth Loftus, Master of Science, Counselor Education. Morgan Williams, Master of Science, Counselor Education, Pre-K to 12. Samantha Angeline Sabalo, Master of Science, Counselor Education. Matthew Wojciechowski, Bachelor of Science. Suparsh Tanga, Master of Arts, Psychology. Yasmin Cooley, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Alexis Joy Williams, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Jacqueline Rose Tedesco, Bachelor of Science. Natalie M. Altieri, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Carmela Marie Candon, Master of Arts, Psychology. Samantha Mary Reed, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Amanda Reidenbach, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Rochelle Rodriguez, Master of Science, Counselor Education. Urwa Siddiqui, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Shayna Finn, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Cassidy Dorson, Master of Arts, Clinical Mental Health Counseling. Alexander Jack Branham, Master of Arts, Psychology. Kieran Thomas Slattery, Master of Arts, Psychology. Gwendolyn P. Murray, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Nicholas Bernard Lynch, Master of Arts, Psychology. I now welcome to the podium Shelby Yeager, Chair of the Department of Athletic Training and Exercise Science.
Sister Mary, it's my honor to present to you the graduates of the Athletic Training and Exercise Science Department. Emily Kathleen Schaefer, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Michaela Isabella McClemens, Bachelor of Science. Jonathan Andrew Donnell, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Griffin Henry Pyatt, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Olivia Rose Nanetti, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Haley Everett Taylor, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Larissa Morgan Shimileski, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Okay. Molly Catherine Soboleski, summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Marina Catherine Pagula, summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Kira Marie Waring, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Samantha Faye Compton, Bachelor of Science. Joseph Charles Monahan, Bachelor of Science. Scott Becker, summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Alexander Joseph Krasnewski, Bachelor of Science. Antonella Shahili, Bachelor of Science. Jonathan Tucker, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Nicole Elizabeth Howes, Bachelor of Science. Anthony L. Gugino, Bachelor of Science. Rebecca Lee Janis, cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Nicholas Macano, magna cum laude, Bachelor of Science. I now welcome Teresa Delaney, Director of Nursing, Respiratory Therapy, and Health Services Administration, to the podium.
Sister Mary, it is my honor to present to you the graduates of the Department of Nursing, Respiratory Therapy, and Health Services Administration. Thank you. Sarah Arlene Tassi, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Kristen Brianne Mousley, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Amanda Bridgewood, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Lisa Marie Draymond, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Komal J. Patel, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Amber Lee Hicks, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Mia Rose Spasto, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Olivia Ellen Ionasi, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Mitchell Francis Canavy, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Thank you. Natalie R. Day, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. I don't even need yours. Blythe L. Brown, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Thank you. Ashley Fumonte, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Thank you. Emily Elizabeth Nicastro, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Megan Kathleen Sinclair, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Rachel Sprinson, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Natalie Ann Walker, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Stephanie Elise Skrobak Bajeski, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Thank you. Cheryl Mercurio, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Alana Costal, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Nicole Lynn Welsh, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Thank you. Nicole Valerie Savarese, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Thank you. Victoria Lynn D. Donato, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Thank you. Molly Ann McCulloch, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Josephine Ray, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Deanna Colette Fedek, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Nina Victoria Fedek, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Corinne Quintiliano, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Hello. Alexa Natalie Shushnik, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Hunter Nicole Vaughn, cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Nursing, recipient of the Namatko Medal for Distinction in Nursing. Mona Bascoda, Master of Health Services Administration. Jennifer Manzo, summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science. Allison Lindsay Burge, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Emily Marie Temple, Bachelor of Science in Nursing. I now welcome Ms. Abigail Davis, Director of the Physician Assistant Program, to the podium.
Sister Mary, it is my honor to present to you the graduates of the Physician Assistant Program. Courtney Elise Paulus, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Jillian Rose Castellani, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Christina Marie De Palma, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Rebecca M. Borkert, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Kayla Stam, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Chelsea Greco, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Joshua John D'Agostino, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Ryan Skapiak, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Julia Marie Sebastian, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Maria Pixon, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Amanda Page Aten, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Colleen Patricia Adler, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Christina Nicole Kazanis, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Sierra Chesney, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Sarah Aronica, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Samantha Lynn Berger, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Samantha Starbuck, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Emma Grace Lake, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Hannah Torje Goebel, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Emma Lynn Moser, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Marissa Nicole Pitius, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Christina Ann Moore, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Maren B. McHale, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Claire Patricia Relic, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Kathleen Kilty Grogan, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Jason Henry Archer, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Cody C. Gangaware, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Marley Marie Holleran, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Olivia Elizabeth Gentileza, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Brianna Maglio, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Alexis Marie Yeager, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Jennifer Mie Horn, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies, recipient of the Thomas J. Keenan, MD Medal for Excellence in the Physician Assistant Program. Katie Marie Roth, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Amanda Marie Ahern, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Priya Patel, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. Nicolette Zamara, Master of Science, Physician Assistant Studies. If there are any graduates whose name hasn't yet been called, please come forward now. Okay, congratulations, everyone.
It was worth all that hard work, wasn't it? During the spring semester, Marywood University traditionally recognizes members of the university's faculty, administration, and staff for their distinguished years of service and commitment to our students. We usually have a big dinner for all of those who have reached certain milestones in their years of service. And we haven't done it this year, but at this time, I would like to publicly recognize the continued dedication of all of these individuals, many of whom are with us around the perimeter of this tent today. Please know of our appreciation for all that you do to make Marywood the wonderful university that it is. Additionally, we express our gratitude as we bid farewell to several dedicated members of the Marywood University faculty and administration who will be retiring after their long years of service. Next month, we will be having a special retirement party for them, but for right now, I just want to recognize that we have those retirees and that we will be honoring them, and we want to recognize them here at our commencement services. And finally, 2 members of the Board of Trustees, retired after serving Marywood with great distinction for many years, will be concluding their terms. These 2 members are Mary Ann Convoy Abrahamson and Mary Ellen McDonough. So for our persons who celebrate years of service, our retirees, and our trustees who will be leaving the board after their service, I ask you to extend an applause of gratitude and appreciation. At this time, I ask Mariah to come up and address the audience.
Members of the Marywood University Corporation, trustees of the university, Sister Mary Persico, Reverend Clergy, revered sisters, university officers, members of the faculty, administration, and staff, parents, families, and guests, fellow students. When I decided to come to Marywood, I felt confident I would get an education in my field of study, but I never dreamed that I would also receive a thorough education about myself. If you're like me, you certainly do not remember signing up for any courses that said in the description, you will be challenged to place everything that you know about yourself and the world around you to the side, and consider ideas that you never had before. I can tell you that I probably would have hesitated to take such an intimidating sounding course. However, some of the most difficult battles we fight are the ones that force us to look past what we know about the world around us. In fall 2019, in one of my psychology courses, Dr. Campenny shared something that changed the way I think about the world. Happiness and joy are not the only emotions you are allowed to feel. That idea fascinated me, leading me to study it in my senior seminar research paper. What I found is that too often we are told that negative experiences and emotions such as sadness or frustration should be avoided at all costs. However, we are human, and to live an authentic human life, we will experience happiness, anger, jealousy, and so much more. Today, I want to talk about how Marywood has allowed us to experience all of these human emotions and encourage us to accept that we are allowed to feel them, empowering us to be prepared for all of the joys and sorrows of our futures. One of the things that would have surprised me most as a first-year student is that Marywood would teach me that it is okay to fail, not to be perfect on the first attempt. It would be wonderful if things could work out flawlessly, but more often than not, the path to mastery is unpredictable. This popular idea that failure is not an option has haunted many of us, including myself. However, Marywood has blessed us with professors and staff who contradict this idea and formed us into individuals who can strive for excellence even after failure. In spring 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic was just beginning, when everything was uncertain and stressful, Marywood gave us a safe space to experience failure, or to at least perform at a level more forgiving for the mental fog that confronted us. Our faculty encouraged us to do our best, but also to think about how the definition of best needs to take into account our entire selves, our stresses, our fears, and our difficulties. As a result, we now more truly appreciate the importance of perseverance and having compassion for ourselves and others in times of difficulty. That said, our time at Marywood has also given us many occasions for happiness and excitement. From the beginning, the Marywood community embraced us with open arms, from the opening liturgy and picnic to all the student life activities. We have flown down slopes while snow tubing. We have marveled at great works of art, architecture, and theater on trips to New York City. We've delighted at mentalist performances and partied at Marywood Madness bonfires where we carved the most creative pumpkins. And of course, most of all, we have played some very competitive bingo. We have also fought hard on the sports fields, enjoyed openings at art galleries, and musical performances at the Christmas tree lighting ceremony. In addition, we've proudly displayed our research during Marywood's annual Research Day, enlightening those around us with our findings. We've shared laughs with faculty who not only enriched our minds, but also showed us how to celebrate in even the tiniest moments of life. I'm reminiscing about dancing with Sister Rose to Madonna in our Modern Belief class. And finally, we've reached graduation, a celebration of our academic success and an opportunity to join together once again as a community. As students of the College of Health and Human Services who attend to the health and mind of the body, we will play an important role in the lives of others. Mental health and physical health are often one and the same. And we are now tasked with the responsibility to help other individuals live the authentic human life that we were shown during our time here. As someone who has studied psychology, I would like to practice that responsibility now and express my gratitude to the professors who believed in us and allowed us to see that we can achieve more than we ever thought we could. To Sister Mary and the administration for designing a safe and healthy environment for the world's future health professionals to grow and nurture their excellence. And to the many friends and family who helped us throughout our journey at Marywood. Our futures are just beginning, and no matter what clients we serve or professional paths we tread, we will bring Marywood with us in these lessons of gratitude, of perseverance in the face of adversity, of celebrating moments of joy and embracing the moments of sorrow. I know that you will all continue to achieve and grow as individuals, and I wish you the best moving forward. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Lee Farrar Freeman, and I am Second Vice President of the Marywood University Alumni Association Board of Directors. It is indeed a pleasure to be speaking to the future of Marywood University Alumni Association. It isn't unusual for you to leave this ceremony with a sense of accomplishment and a feeling of uneasiness as you come to realize you are leaving Marywood behind. The Marywood Alumni Association provides the opportunity for you to continue your Marywood experience on and off campus. Marywood alumni total over 30,000 all over the world. Connect with us via social media and share job updates, moves, marriages, and so on. Our alumni chapters will connect you with fellow alumni at events throughout the country. Volunteer, get involved, stay in touch. Your success is Marywood's success. Now, it is my privilege to complete your transition this day, to begin your journey from students to alumni. I ask all the members of the class of 2021 to please stand. In accordance with the bylaws of the Marywood Alumni Association and by the authority vested in me by the President of the Marywood University Alumni Association, I hereby declare the class of 2021 lifelong members of the Marywood Alumni Association with all the rights and privileges accorded thereto. In closing, I congratulate each of you as you join your over 30,000 sisters and brothers as sons and daughters of Marywood University forever.
As we conclude this commencement ceremony, we pray with great pride and gratitude for the achievements of all whom we are celebrating today. God of joy and hope, bless and guide this class of 2021 in their going forth and in their new beginnings. Bless their families and all who have supported them in reaching this milestone. May their Marywood education inspire them to live lives of service to others, especially to those who are marginalized or suffering in any way. Encourage these graduates, O God, in their desire to make the world a better place. Give them wisdom and courage to always seek the greater good and to live responsibly in an interdependent world. God of unconditional love, walk with these Marywood graduates and strengthen them along the journey of life. In the midst of life's blessings and challenges, may they always know your presence and your peace. This we pray through the intercession of Mary and in the name of Jesus. Amen. Congratulations.